Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I am streaming to you from beautiful Budapest, the capital city of the beautiful country of Hungary. I hope everybody is doing great. Hi Lena, Naji, hi King Lion, hi Roshna Dahal, hi Amrit. Good to see you in class. Good to see you here as well, Hung. Today, for this class, we are focusing on the listening section, specifically listening section parts 1 and 2. We are practicing for Band 9 how to get answers correctly, how to get those high scores. Again, materials do come from our websites, aehelp.com and gieltshelp.com. For academic, check us out at aehelp.com. And for general version of the test, check us out at gieltshelp.com. On both of those websites, you can use the code LIVE20 for a 20% discount. I'll show you where. This is our academic website here. You can click that big red join button. When you click that button, you can use this coupon code in the checkout form, and then you enter in the information here. I know that's quite bright, but there's a space there for you to type that LIVE20 code in. Same thing for the general version of our website. It works on your phone and your tablet, of course. It's responsive. So make sure to do yourself a favor and get our premium courses. If you have questions about the IELTS exam, you're not sure about a question type, you're not sure about how to write your answers in the answer sheet, whether or not you can use all capital letters in the listening, reading sections, send your questions to Adrian, A-D-R-I-A-N, at aehelp.com. That's my name, at aehelp.com. All right, students, you can also buy our books, our exam books, from your Amazon bookstore. Search for AE Helps Academic IELTS or GE Helps General IELTS, and you can get the digital or paperback version of our 6 exams that we use in these live classes. So today, listening. Tomorrow, with members, we finish up task 2, and then we'll do a reading as well. So make sure to tune in for those classes. And of course, we have classes on Saturday also. Without further ado, students, let's get right into some listening practice. This listening is test number 2 coming out of our book number 1. For those of you that have our products, on the website you will find it with CD3 track number 1. I'm going to play the audio right now, so I will play the listening audio. Then we will talk about the answers and some strategies. Students, make sure not to give answers in the chat. Give everybody a chance to answer first, and then we'll go through answers together. So just write your answers on a piece of paper or in a document, and then we will do them together. I'm using my headset mic here for the audio. It's good quality, but if it's quiet for you, turn up the audio on your side. Use a headset, okay? Here we go. So I'm going to hop over to our website here. Let's get to the academic one. I'm going to step into my student account at the top there. Once I'm in my student account, I will go to the audio CDs, which are here. Okay, and after opening up the audio CDs tab, I'm going to CD number 3, track number 1. Okay, volume's maximum on my side, so get ready to listen and answer again on a piece of paper in a document, not in the chat. Give everybody a chance. Here we go.
This recording is copyrighted by 2 Think One Solutions Inc. and World ESL Tutors. You will hear several different recordings and you will answer questions on what you hear. There will be time given to read the instructions and questions, and you will be given a chance to check your work. The recordings will be played only once. The test is made up of 4 sections. At the end of the test, you will have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. Now turn to section 1. Listening section 1. You will hear a conversation between 2 women as one of the women registers her daughter for nursery school. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. You will see that there is an example. This time only, the conversation relating to this question will be played.
Good afternoon, Monterey Primary, Jane speaking.
Hello, my name is Diane Johnson. I was hoping to register my daughter for nursery school at Monterey Primary.
Of course, Miss Johnson. Would you like to register your daughter for full-day nursery school, or half-day, or full-day plus after-school care?
Oh, just the half day. I don't think Matilda could handle a full day away from home just yet.
The woman says she would like to register her daughter for half-day nursery school, so A has been indicated for you. Now we begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Good afternoon, Monterey Primary, Jane speaking.
Hello, my name is Diane Johnson. I was hoping to register my daughter for nursery school at Monterey Primary.
Of course, Miss Johnson. Would you like to register your daughter for full-day nursery school, or half-day, or full-day plus after-school care?
Oh, just the half day. I don't think Matilda could handle a full day away from home just yet.
So your daughter's name is Matilda Johnson?
Yes, let me spell it for you. The first name is Matilda, Matilda, and the last name is Johnson, but it's not the common spelling. It's spelt Jonson. My husband is Swedish, which explains the different spelling.
Right. And what is Matilda's date of birth?
She was born December 25th, 2006.
So she was born at Christmas. That is incredible.
Yes, she was an incredible present to get for Christmas. It certainly was the most memorable Christmas I've had.
Yes, I would imagine. Okay, so now I need Matilda's personal education number, which she should have received in the post recently.
I don't remember receiving such a letter in the post.
It would have come from the Department of Education, and they always post things in yellow envelopes. You don't remember seeing a yellow envelope in the post?
In fact, I do, but I didn't open it. My husband did. He didn't mention anything about a personal education number. Now he's away with work and I won't be able to reach him.
Well, we can retrieve the number. I'm going to need your national insurance number as well as your husband's. I'm going to need your husband's name as well.
My husband's name is Eric, with a K instead of a C on the end. His last name is Johnson, of course. His national insurance number is DF987745W, and mine is KL409115N.
You now have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. Now listen to the rest of the interview and answer questions 6 to 10.
Right. Okay, let me see here. All right. Here is a personal education number. I'll give it to you now so that you can write it down for future reference. It is T56340192.
Just to make sure, the first character is T as in Thomas.
Yes, and this letter in front of the number shows what region the child is originally from. The T in this case refers to Tyne and Wear.
That would be correct, I'd imagine. Matilda was born in Newcastle, which of course is in Tyne and Wear.
Okay, So we have all the information about Matilda that we need. She is now registered for half-day nursery school in September. Do you have any questions?
Yes, I do. I was wondering what sort of training your nursery school teachers have.
That is a very good question. Each of our teachers has, at a minimum, a 2-year diploma in early childhood education. Many of our senior staff have bachelor's degrees in education in addition to the 2-year diploma. And our departmental head, Miss Janet Roth, has a postgraduate certificate, bachelor's degree and diploma. Do not worry, Miss Johnson, your daughter Matilda is in very good hands.
That makes me feel a lot better. Can you tell me when the first day of school is? And also, will there be an orientation day for new students and parents?
The first day of class is the 5th of September, and yes, we do have an orientation day. It takes place on the 3rd of September from 9 to midday. Parents and children are strongly encouraged to attend.
That is the end of section 1. You will now have half a minute to check your answers.
All right, students, and make sure to check your answers. We will go through them in just a moment. Let me get back to question 1. Here we go. All right. So that's a typical listening section 1 for the IELTS exam. It's the same for academic, same for general. So let's go through one at a time, and then we will talk a little bit of strategy and how to get these answers correct. You had an example here. The example was, what nursery school registration option does the woman choose? She chooses A, half day. Only in section 1 do you get such an example. Now, number 1, what is the woman's husband's nationality? Is it A, Swiss, B, Swedish, or C, Swazi? These are all different nationalities, of course, even though they sound similar. Jas, Tina, Sana, all agree that it is B, and in fact it is. Yes, B is the correct answer. So in your answer sheet, put the big letter B. I always suggest using the capital letter, not the small letter B. So big letter B. All right. Number 2, how is a child's personal education number normally received? Is it A, by post, B, by email, or C, picked up from the school? Now, they talked quite a bit about this, so you should be able to get it. Again, listening section 1 is supposed to be fairly easy, so even lower level students should get most answers correct. And many of you are saying, that's A, and you're right. It is A, by post. Sent in the mail is another way that they say it. So the correct answer there is A. Again, use the capital letter A, not the small letter. Okay, so big letter B for number 1, big letter A for number 2. Here we go. Question number 3. Choose the correct letter, continuing with multiple choice. Why is the husband out of town? Why is the husband out of town? Is it for vacation? Is it for work? Or is it for family reasons? Yeah, very good. Hung, Tina, Guangkai, Amina, Amarwadi. Excellent. Yeah, it's work. I believe the exact words she uses is, my husband's away with work, I'm afraid, so I don't know where the envelope is. And again, you had some more information here that helped you to get the last question correct, that it was mailed, the registration number. Okay, here we go. So this was a little bit trickier. We'll talk a little bit of strategy on how to solve these questions. For now, let's just answer. Number 4, which 3 pieces of information are required to retrieve the child's personal education number? So you have 6 options here. You have to just choose 3. In your answer sheet, you will have box number 4, like this, okay? And you have to put all 3. You can separate them with a comma. Order does not matter. Okay, so Sanjar says it's ABF. Hung says it's CDF. F is a common answer. Yeah, definitely the husband's name was one. So F for sure. Again, use capital letters. The woman's national insurance number and the husband's national insurance number. I believe the exact words that they says, I need your national insurance number as well as your husband's. So they don't say about the husband's, but they say as well as your husband's. So we know it's those as well. So it is C and D for that one. So F, C, and D. So that's what your answer sheet should look like. Good for those of you who got it. Again, practice using capital big letters, students, okay? All right. So far, so good. Moving along. For number 4, by the way, if you're wondering, like, I get a mark if I get 2 of the 3 correct? No. You have to get all 3 of them correct, okay? So all 3 have to be correct to pick up this mark. If you only got 2, you can't get it, okay? So all of them have to be correct. All right, number 5. How is the husband's name spelled? Now, sometimes you'll actually have to write it down, and sometimes you get a multiple choice. So is it A, Eric with a CK, B, Eric with a C, or C, Eric with a K? Sana says A, Banaz says A, Yerbalat says C, and Yerbalat, you're the first one to get it correct. Malik and Satisfying Times are the second one to get it correct. Yeah, so C is the correct answer here. We'll talk about that one, where you can find that. I'll show you in the answer key why it's C. Okay, so C is the correct answer for that one. Okay, so we had a little bit of break to review these questions, 6 to 10. So again, during that time, always follow the instructions, review the questions. Choose the correct letters A, B, or C. Number 6, what is Matilda's personal education number? Okay, what is Matilda's personal education number? These are all slightly different. Starts with a T, starts with a P, and then here you have a P instead of a number. So which one's the correct one? Yeah, A. A is correct. So it's T followed by a set of numbers. What does the T show? Here's a bonus question. What is the T for? A is correct. Again, use the capital letter A. The woman actually says an interesting piece of information about the T. What was that? Satisfying Time says the T is the area. Yeah, Mad Bat says T is the area where the child is born. Tyne and Weir, I believe, was the area in England where Matilda was born. So the T denotes or indicates the place where the child's born. And more specifically, which city? So where was the child born? Was it A, Newcastle, B, London, or C, Monterey? Yeah, Yuya, very good. Yuya says it's Newcastle. Yuya, make sure that in your answer sheet you put A and not the word, okay? So for number 7, be always very careful. You will have 10 minutes at the end to transfer your answers into the answer key. Please make sure that you're transferring the letter, not the word. If you write Newcastle like this, you'll get it wrong. Even though theoretically it's a correct answer, the question says choose the correct letter A, B, or C. So here you have to put A. So be very careful in that 10 minutes not to make silly mistakes, okay? The correct answer is A, like that, all right? So make sure that you don't transfer the wrong information, even if the answer is correct. Don't transfer the wrong information. While you're listening, so you basically have 2 booklets in the listening section. You have your question booklet, and you have your answer booklet, okay? And you have your question booklet. So while you're listening, in the listening section, you're putting your answers into the question booklet, and at the end, you have 10 minutes to transfer these answers over, okay? In the reading section, you directly put the answers into the answer key, not in the question booklet. But in the listening section, you put your answers first in the question booklet, and then you transfer them to the answer key if you're doing the paper-based exam. If you're doing the computer-based exam, then, of course, you're putting your answers directly into the spaces provided. Just give me a second here. You get a quick picture of my daughter from a couple years ago, and then we'll continue. I'll just get you back on camera. My camera decided to fall asleep there on me. All right, so here we go. Okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah, we just celebrated her 3rd birthday the other week, so she's a bit bigger. Starting nursery school herself this year. So this is kind of an interesting listening because we just registered her for nursery school. So kind of a similar experience as this listening exercise. All right. So 7 is A, Newcastle, and number 8 is another one of these interesting multiple choice questions, okay? So again, you have to choose multiple letters. What 2 qualifications do many of the nursery school senior staff have? So here you have number 8 on your sheet. You have to give 2 answers. What are the 2 correct answer choices here? Hung says it's B and E, so a 2-year diploma and a bachelor's degree. That is correct. It's B and E. So the administrator says all of our staff have a 2-year diploma. Most of them have a bachelor's degree. So B and E, you get both of those correct, you pick up the point. Okay. They also say that the head of the school, she has, I believe, a master's degree or a doctorate degree, but that's only one person. The question's asking many, not just one person. So that's why we know that it's B and E. Okay? All right. Questions 9 and 10, it's fill in the blanks there, just some short filling in answers. Write no more than 2 words and or a number for each. First day of class, when is it? When's the first day of class? Muskan Bakshi says 5th of September. Muskan, make sure you put a capital S in the answer sheet, a big letter S. If you put a small s, you'll get it wrong. Okay? The S has to be big. Sukhanpreet Kaur, same thing. You have to put a big S. Okay, it's very important. Jas Kamboj says 5th of September with all capitals. The easiest answer, students, is this. That is your easiest answer to get it correct. Okay? All capitals, S-E-P-T, put a period. You don't have to have it, but it's good to show that it's an abbreviation. No spelling mistakes. You do not need the TH, okay, because you might make a mistake there, so don't write TH. Just sept 5, okay, with the number. That's your easiest answer to get this correct. This S has to be big, so even if you do it like this, okay, this has to be big. If it's small, or if it looks kind of smallish like that, you'll likely get that wrong. So just be very careful. Okay, highway star, that's how you want to do it. All right? So September 5th. Okay. Orientation day, 3rd of September. Orientation hours, 9 to midday. Something and children should attend orientation. Who should attend orientation with children? You can probably get this even if you missed it. Yeah, it's parents. Now, Hung, you have to have the S. Okay? Children is plural. Okay? So parents has to be plural. Okay, parent and children doesn't really sound right. So careful. If you write just parent, you might get that wrong. There was clearly parents and children should attend orientation. So use the plural, parents and children. All right. Doing fantastic. How did you do? What did you get? What were your marks from this listening section part 1 out of 10? How did you perform? Count up how many you got correct. Be honest to yourself. Don't cheat. The only person you're cheating is yourself. So nine out of 10 is good. Okay, for all of you who got 9 out of 10, that's about what you want your goal to be. Okay. 10 out of 10 is exactly the ideal. Section 1 is the easiest. So you want to really try to get at least 8 in section 1. If you get less than 8, you really have to practice, because section 2, 3, 4, they're more difficult, so you will likely lose even more marks. Okay, so you need to get at least 8. So Faf, El Rahman, 7, it's okay, but you want to aim for 8. 9 is good, 10 is great. Okay, that should be your goal. All right, so in a few minutes, we will go to section 2, and we will do section 2 together. Before that, let's talk a little bit of strategy with section 1, okay? So just a couple of tips and strategies to get high marks in the listening section. So listening section strategies, number 1. During the instruction time, look at the topics for section 2, 3, and 4. This is for the paper-based exam. To get your brain thinking on these. So probably some of you realized I wasn't just going crazy and losing my mind, but when this audio started, you probably noticed that I was looking at section 2 like this. Okay. Now, technically, this is not allowed, but they don't actually say that anywhere during the test. So many students, about 50% of students, said that they can use this strategy and it worked for them. Okay. About other 50% of students said, unfortunately, the examiner says, please don't turn the page for me. So some students got away with it, some students not, but it's worth a try. So I went here, I looked at this, university opened. So I knew that here, section 2 was something about a university and its history, okay? Looking at that. So I'm just looking at the first couple lines. Then I went to section 3. I looked at if an Egyptian's income is 10,000, how much do they give? The first reason is taxes. The second reason is taxes. So I see money, taxes, taxes. So I know that section 3 is some information about taxes. So my brain is thinking about levies and taxes. And then I quickly went to section 4, and I looked at this, and I saw a flowchart, and it said Isaac Newton's born in, studies at King's School. So obviously section 4 is something about Isaac Newton. So now, during section 1, already my brain has 3 key pieces of information. Section 2 is something about a university. Section 3 is about money and taxes. Section 4 is about Isaac Newton. Now my brain is working. Okay, the brain does a lot of work even when you're not thinking about it. So if you can grab these topics during the instruction time in part 1, that's about 90 seconds. That is a very good strategy if you can get away with it. Okay. Alvina, it's about the same. British Council is very well organized, so British Council is a good place to take the exam. Okay. All right. So here we go. And section 1 is easy, so you don't need to spend all that time on section 1. So again, remember this strategy. In the instruction time, look at the topics. Okay? So here the example was university, taxes, Isaac Newton. Okay, so that's your first strategy. All right. Keep that in mind. That can help you to pick up some extra points, okay? All right, so next strategy. Let's go back to section 1. You have some time to review the questions. You have about 30 seconds, even when you go back during the example. So that's when I came back, when the narrator said, now you shall see an example this time only. So then I started looking at this. Now, when you're looking at the example, when you see this kind of a question, okay, so for question 4, you see which 3 pieces of information are required, okay, for section 1. So here, you have to really focus on this question. So spend a little bit more energy time here, focusing on these responses. Notice how here you have personal insurance number, personal insurance number. So these are similar, okay? Here you have national insurance number, national insurance number. So these are similar. And then you have the woman's name and the husband's name. So these are similar, okay? So you're focusing on actually 3 pieces here. Insurance number, personal insurance number, national insurance number, and name of person, okay? You have to focus on these so you can catch it and then give the correct answer. You cannot just choose these as you're listening. It doesn't work, okay? You have to know this information before you hear this information, okay? So here is an important strategy. For questions that require multiple answers, you have to read them carefully before the audio, so you know what to choose from. You don't have enough time to do it as you listen. So for questions that have multiple answer choices, you must review them carefully, spend extra time before you hear the audio. Okay, take note of similarities and differences in the answer choices. All right, that's really the key. Okay. All right. Now, here came the next one. Amrit, thank you for your donation, for your Super Chat $2 donation. I appreciate that. That's really cool. We haven't had those in a while. I don't talk about it, but that's one way to support us. So thank you, Amrit. I'm talking about multiple choice strategy right now, Amrit. Right now I'm actually talking about it because what I just talked about is a type of multiple choice. This is a 3-answer multiple choice. So this is one type. We have lots of multiple choice in this listening section 1. So I'll keep talking about it a little bit. So here is the next one. Question number 5, multiple choice. How is the husband's name spelled? Now, for multiple choice questions that are a little bit tricky, like this one, where you have slight differences, CK, C, or K, especially if you get it wrong, at home, make sure to review and check what happened. How can you do that? By going to the transcripts. What are you looking for? You're looking for paraphrasing and where the answer is coming from. Okay? So here, how is the husband's name spelled? It's a question. Now, in our books, you will find the transcripts at the back of the book. For this specific one, it's going to be on page 202, I believe. Yep, here it is. So here are the transcripts. Let me get this full size here. Transcripts, basically, it's the script. Okay. Now here's questions 1 to 5. All right, so this is what we're looking at. And we go all the way to where answer 5 is coming from, which is right here. You see Diane says, my husband's name is Eric with a K instead of a C. So this is the key piece of information here, with a K instead of a C. So there's no C because it's instead of. Okay? So make sure to check why that's the correct answer. And what's the paraphrasing for that question? I'm going to need your husband's name as well. So this is a statement instead of a question. The question says, what is the husband's name? In the audio, you hear, I'm going to need your husband's name as well. My husband's name is. So it's a statement, okay, with a K instead of a C. All right. Now for multiple choice, Amrit, pay attention here. You have to focus on hearing the answer and not just trying to match with the question. Where many students make the mistake is they're simply trying to match the question with what they hear, and oftentimes you will not hear that information because it's paraphrased. So you have to hear it, okay? You have to hear and pay attention to it. Okay, so here, that's why it was Eric with a K instead of a C. All right. So let's write down those important points for multiple choice. For multiple choice questions, you must hear the answer and not just simply try to match it with the choices. It doesn't work because there's too much paraphrasing. Also, make sure to use transcripts at home when you study to review how the answers are paraphrased between the audio and the questions. Okay, if you keep doing that, you'll get the hang of it. All right? You definitely will get the hang of it. Okay? All summer, it definitely does depend on your understanding. All right, so those are some key strategies there. Now, when it gives you some time to review questions 6 to 10, make sure you're reviewing questions 6 to 10. Don't worry about the first 5 questions anymore. Don't keep looking at those. Make sure you're reviewing these ones, okay? And for these types of fill in the blanks, practice giving the easiest possible answers. So when it says the first day of class is September 5th, practice writing the easiest, fastest, correct answer. That's a very important strategy as well. So for fill in the blanks questions, you must use the simplest and fastest answer possible. Practice this at home. Okay, here the example is for September 5th, it's Sept 5. Okay, that's your easiest, simplest, fastest answer. All right, Tep Piwat, good luck on your test tomorrow. Okay, students, having said that, let's look at section number 2. We will now do this together, okay? Hopefully everybody understood those strategies. You can review them in your premium course on our websites at aehelp.com or gieltshelp.com. Now we will begin section 2. Again, I'd like to remind you, please do not write your answers into the chat. Just write them on a separate piece of paper, okay? Give everybody a fair chance to give their own answers, and we will go through them together at the end, okay? So please, everyone, write them on a separate piece of paper, separate document, and then we will go through them together after section 2 is finished. Give everybody a fair chance. Okay, here we go with section 2. Again, this audio is coming from our website. And this is, of course, going to be CD 3, track number 2. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Now turn to section 2. Take some time to look at questions 11 to 16. Listening section 2. You will hear a recording of a university campus tour. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 16. Now listen carefully to the interview and answer questions 11 to 16.
Good afternoon, everyone. If you're here for the university campus tour, you're in the correct place. There are 2 purposes for this tour. For prospective students, you get to see the campus where you may be studying in a few months, and you get to learn some interesting information which may convince you to look favourably on our university. For parents, you get to learn what life is like at this university, so you know where you are sending your kids off to this autumn. Before we start the tour, I'd like to give you some background information. This university was originally opened in 1686, although from 1745 to 1805 it was shut down due to a lack of funding. The university is composed of 23 buildings which were built in one of 3 periods. There were 4 original buildings in 1686, a dozen more buildings were constructed in the period from 1805 to 1815, and the final 7 buildings have been added in the past 10 years. So there is a fascinating mix of 17th century, 19th century and quite modern architecture. The first building we are going to look at is called the Prescott Building, named after the university's first Chancellor, William Chester Prescott. As you can probably tell, this is one of the university's original buildings completed in 1686. The building is actually quite unique in shape. It is approximately 40 metres long while only 8 metres wide. It also has these interesting circular areas attached to each corner, 4 of them in all. These 4 circular areas each house a large bell. None of the bells work today, however. As we walk in the door, I'd like to point out all of the beautiful Persian carpets on the floor. These carpets were donated to the university by a former student almost 150 years ago. It is very common for former students who have done well in life to give back to the university. Some give money, some give land, some give gifts such as Persian carpets. One former student even gave the university his pub after he died. By the way, that pub, which is located at the intersection of 3rd Street and Pine Avenue, gives students of the university a 30% discount. Now, if that's not a selling point for this university, I don't know what is. On a serious note, it is our outstanding education which makes our university a top competitor on the global front.
You now have some time to look at questions 17 to 20. Now listen to the rest of the interview and answer questions 17 to 20.
Before we go any further, are there any questions? No? Right then. Next we are going to visit the university library. As you see in front of the library, there is a beautiful fountain which shoots water high up in the air. Once again, the funding for the fountain came from a former student, in this case a well-known artist. It was constructed just 15 years ago at the cost of £50,000. As we step into the library, I think what you'll notice at first is the fact there are no books. Indeed, there are no books at all on the entire ground floor. On the 5 upper floors, however, there are over 3 million books. The library's collection has been built over time through private donations, gifts from former students, as well as university purchases. There is also a special collections area where there are original works dating back to the year 1588. Next on our itinerary is a visit to the sporting facilities. Here at the university we have over a dozen different facilities for almost any sport you can imagine, ranging from football and rugby to tennis and squash to archery and cricket. Our rugby team has won the national championship 3 out of the last 5 years. As you'll see on your left is a famous wall where we put pictures of...
That is the end of section 2. You will now have half a minute to check your answers.
Okay, students, and again, make sure to check your answers in that half minute. Now, we will go through them together and see how you did, so you get a chance to share your answers with your peers. Here we go, students. All right, so first you had this form completion and table completion. In the first column, you have some information, and then you have the matching information in the second column. So for number 11, the university opened. When did the university open? Gunkai Ren, of course it's harder because this is section 2. And section 2 is harder than section 1. Each section increases in difficulty. The first correct answer is by Kulwant Singh. It's 1686. So in English, often the years are given as 2 numbers. 1686. Okay, so the year 1686 is when the university opened. For those of you who got it, fantastic. All right, then it was shut down for some 60 years here. It gives you that information. And then between 1805 and 1915, there were some buildings that were constructed. How many buildings were constructed? Now, they say there are 23 buildings total, which were constructed in 3 time periods. And the time periods are given. Number 12 is, the first correct answer is by Shamster Depp. It's 12. Yeah, so the audio says there were a dozen buildings. So 12, or another way, is dozen. There were a dozen buildings constructed between the years 1805 and 1815. It's 23 total, but only 12 in these years, okay? And then there were 7 more buildings that were added in the past how many years? For number 13. Mad Bat, very good. Hunter Mahato, 10. Yes, in the past 10 years, that's correct. So here it was 1686, 12, and 10. Okay, so in your answer booklet, when you have the spaces, you have 11, 12, 13. You simply need numbers. So 1686, you'll get it correct. 12, you'll get it correct. You can write dozen, it's just more difficult. Choose always the simplest answer. 10, okay? So those will be your correct answers. All right, students, let's keep going here with the next few. Here in the first half of section 2, we had 6 questions. So let's look at 14, 15, and 16. This was a diagram question. When you have a diagram question like this, pay attention to the dimensions. Notice how these are very different. This is a rectangle. This is a long rectangle. This is a square. Okay? The other differences are you have squares in the corner, you have circles here, and you have squares here. What was the correct answer here? The correct answer, Hunter Mahato is right, was B. Okay? Absolutely. This was B. B is the correct answer. Why do we know that, students? Why do we know that it's B? Okay. Tijlan Bui, 1 time is okay. You don't need to put it in 10 times. Yeah, Tina, that's right. So the speaker says it's 40 meters long, so 40 meters long, and only 8 meters wide. So that's how we know that this shape is the correct shape. And also the speaker says that there are these circular shapes in the corners which used to have bells in the past. Okay, good. All right, number 15, no more than 2 words and or a number. How many years ago were the Persian carpets donated? Kulwant Singh and Tik Kid, both correct. 150. Again, use the number. Okay, 150 years ago. You don't need the words years here, okay, because we have years in the question. So you don't have to add the word years. All right. Moving along nicely. What discounts do students receive at the local pub? So the speaker says that one of our past students donated a pub. 3% is silly, so we can probably figure that, okay, it can't be 3%. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Correct answer is A, 30%. Again, make sure to put the letter, not the number, 30%. Okay, it says choose the correct letter, not choose the correct number. Okay. 17 to 20. Fill in the blanks. Complete the summary. Write no more than 2 words and or number. In front of the library there is a beautiful what? Number 17. Kulwat Singh, Sanjar, very good. Fountain. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, water fountain. Shoots water. Yep, fountain. Inside the library, the ground floor has something books. So this has to be some kind of a number or a word for number 18. Sanjar says, no books. Yeah, 0, no books. All of those are correct. You could put 0 like this as well, 0 books. Okay, that would be okay. That would be okay. The upper floors, however, house over 3 million books. The collection was built by donations, gifts, and university purchases. Additionally, there is a something area, number 19. Not notebooks, and Gunkai Ren, notebooks is 1 word, okay? So this couldn't be notebooks because it's 1 word. So you wouldn't have it as 2 words. All right, it's called a special collections. Okay, this was a very difficult answer. The correct answer is special collections. Remember, some questions are for Band 9 students. Special collections is a type of area in the library, and you need the plural S. Okay, if you don't have the S, you won't get it correct. With works dating back to 1588, there are many sporting facilities, including the rugby field, which is home to the rugby team, which has won 3 of the past 5 what? Number 20. Sanjar, very good. The correct answer, it's 2 words here. For number 20, it's National Championships. All right, students, those are the answers. Count up how many you got correct out of 20 for section 1 and section 2. Your goal for a high IELTS band score, 7 or higher, should be 16 or more for section 1 and 2. Okay, so if you need to get a band 7 or more, hopefully you got 16 or more for section 1 and 2. So Sanjar, absolutely on the right track. Satisfying times, you're in there as well. Okay, Hunter and Pavan, I'm guessing that's your score for section 2, which is okay. Yep. Section 2, you want to get at least 7 correct, okay? So 4 is not going to cut it. You want more. Hunter Mahato, 16, you're right on the border. Okay. All right, students, on our websites, this is the academic one. On the bottom, you do have a score calculator, okay, that you can use. Next week, we will do section 3 and section 4 for this listening. So you'll be able to count up your marks, okay? And again, on the bottom here of our website, you do have a score calculator right there where you can type in your score. I'll get that text off. And then you can calculate your score. So there's if you got, let's say, like 32 out of 40 for the whole listening, it will tell you that that is a band 7 or 7.5. So use that score calculator. Students, do yourself a favor. Spend a couple dollars. Get the best materials online to help you with the exam. This is our academic website here. Join it by clicking the big red button there. For general, it's this one here. Thank you so much for watching this lesson. Tomorrow, I will be back with some more task 2 for members, followed by a reading passage and strategy. Remember to practice the strategies from today's listening at home before you sit the exam. Give yourself the best chance to get those high band scores. Keep going forward. It takes a lot of time, energy to learn a language, and it is one of the most useful skills that you can achieve in life, to speak multiple languages. So stay the course, believe in yourself. You have a beautiful mind. Keep going forward, up, up, and up. Much love to all of you. That's it for today. See you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your evening. And if it's late in your country, sweet dreams.